Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. Previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, a private person, James J., with my co-host, a social butterfly, Kaliko Yachts, who may be joining us a little later, but who is here blocked as fuck, Scooter Dust.
You know how I know I'm that damn good? I got Chris Jericho to fucking block me.
Before we talk about the bad stuff that happened this week for Wrestling With, there was some good stuff. We interviewed Emily Locke on Tuesday. Incredible individual. Congratulations on her winning the tag team titles with T-Games. Watch your back. Um, and of course, Ted Sabin on Wednesday. Incredible individual. Incredible area. Just got a lot of love from Andros J, Tristan Stone, Lockhorns. Fantastic individual. Fantastic interview. Cannot recommend enough. That brings us to this upcoming Tuesday. We got Betty Boba, our first interview from Austria. And it does not disappoint. We talk about being the championist and how she's not actually wearing a title, but an actual medal. Not wrestling in the ring. A match against Alexis Lee, stealing somebody's boat? Question mark, and a hell of a lot more. You definitely check that interview out. And then this upcoming Wednesday, we have Bryson Blade. Keeping up on the international sign, a wrestler from Singapore. We talk about him being wronged by Ryan, the referee, getting suspended because of Ryan, the referee, the trickster, cosplaying video games, and a hell of a lot more. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now. While you were in Texas, you stole somebody's boat?
No! Oh, it's a misunderstanding. How could you? No, I, I thought it was my boat, really. But it turned out that the lady, then she came with the paper, and yes, okay, officially it maybe was her boat, but I was just taking it out for a ride. Uh, okay, can we talk about something else?
Well, and I mean, you got suspended, but I kind of feel like he was out of line putting his hand on you. It's not the referee's place.
Exactly. It is not the referee's place. There's nothing said, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not relatable enough. Maybe I'm not likable enough to the SPW audience because everybody was cheering for me. No, was cheering for him to stun me, and wow, the whole crowd went wild about it. So he can pull those kind of things, but I get involved, and I'm the biggest guy that everyone should hate in the room, which I don't know if you feel the same way I do, but I just think that's unfair.
All right, then the next week, I believe it's the 20th. We have Justin Pac-Man Xavier, 21st Ken Warren, the 27th Maddie the American Baddie, 28 we have Uncle Money, and then on March 6th we have Big Sam. So things already kicking off to a great start for February. Uh, I think we're done putting ourselves over and talking about the burial of Wrestling Wet. It was a great day for wrestling? Question mark. because we are wrestling with the news. And in the news this week, Scooter Dust, you got blocked.
Chris Jericho. You know, when that news broke about him, and, you know, I always take judge slowly and wait for, more news, and then, then make your judgments. Apparently, Chris Jericho does not like being considered, having his matches being called bathroom break matches. Well, Chris, at 53, maybe, you shouldn't follow, a match where, two of the top talents that can now out-wrestle you any day of the week, lose all combined, all, the combined amount of one human person of all the blood in their body, and they can fucking walk it off, and you can't handle a fucking golden shower joke, you petulant child. Chris Jericho, I used to be proud to say, you know what, I was born in the same hospital as Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho and I were born in the same city. No, you're just another wannabe New Yorker who got stuck in Canada. And the only reason you're not Canadian is because your mother couldn't close her legs in time. Chris, I will come for my 30 pieces of silver, my friend. And it just might be in Boston.
Somebody else that's collecting his 30 pieces of silver, maybe not, is Scott D'Amore. He got fired from TNA earlier this week.
Yes.
It came to a shock by a lot of people that D'Amore got cut. Considering that he was arguably the most liked promoter in pro wrestling today.
And he really was putting everything he was into TNA, and originally this was reported as Scott D'Amore being released because Anthem actually wanted to put more money into the show. And of course that is now not true. They don't want to do anything with TNA. In fact, they want to cut back. This is WCW before its end all over again.
How many lives has TNA gone through at this point?
6, I think. Now, if I'm Triple H,
you think?
I hired Scott D'Amore without a doubt. They're riding high after Jordynne Grace's appearance and Naomi's return. There's a working relationship there. We know there is. Triple H just isn't one to say it all the time. He likes to actually surprise the fans. And
some people like a candygram at their forbidden door. Not. somebody blow the fucking doors off.
Some people don't like their DoorDash dropped off right in front of the door. They'd like you to come in and actually put it on the counter.
What?
But I'm hungry, okay, and I don't have a Snickers. But I had a prediction before this news broke, and it was by the start of 2025, WWE and TNA will that TNA will have been actually bought by Endeavor and TKO and lumped in to them. But
because TNA is a part of TKO's streaming service.
Yes, but I don't think TKO Group owns TKO Streaming. It's really confusing with that. And believe me, I'm a man who knows his trademarks. Considering that, I just shaved my trademark off. See, I can't even put my hair on the line for my match with Chris Jericho. Oops.
Neither can he.
It's going to be, winner has to do 50 sit-ups. That's what it is. But, we hear about, the most popular free agents in wrestling, and there's usually one, maybe two a year. This year it's Okada and Sasha. Normally we don't get someone from the other side of the coin in the business being a free agent and everybody watching to see where he'll end up. And that's what we have with Scott D'Amore. The wrestling world is all eyes are gonna be on him now. So, Anthem have shot themselves in the foot.
I couldn't agree more.
Because wherever they go, wherever he ends up, talent will follow.
I mean, Moose even stated in an interview the only reason he re-signed with TNA was because of Scott. Scott got put in TNA in a real weird position the company was in at the time.
He's also been there from the beginning.
Right. I think he hasn't been there the full tenure of TNA.
Maybe not the first year, maybe not the first 2 years, but he was the brain behind Team Canada.
Oh yeah.
And the Maple Leaf Muscle.
Oh, absolutely. And he took on TNA in a really awkward time of the company, and he essentially made TNA the little engine that could.
Yep.
They had a lot of, I'm not going to say they're WWE type success, but they were doing quite well under Scott D'Amore.
Yeah, they're watchable again. And this a little personal thing. The sad part for me is my cable company just got rid of the channel that airs Impact. So, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, nope, no more for me.
I don't think you actually watched New Japan.
Oh, I had it recorded on my DVR, but it's the I'm not sure. When I watched it, I wasn't sure exactly what corresponded to what day because I don't think it was ever actually airing in the same as it happened because it's the Josh Barnett commentary.
Yeah, it's pre-recorded.
Yeah, so. But it was, it was there, and it was something else to watch. I mean, it was, and before that, I had Ring of Honor set on my DVR, but no, the whole thing happened where they lost all the TV and everything, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't think this was the right move by Anthem. I think that D'Amore was a good person to have at the helm of that company if they wanted it to be bigger. He was pushing, for a bigger budget. It was awesome what he actually was able to do with the budget that they had. It's just, if Scott D'Amore had the money of Tony Khan, that's a big what if right now. And it just kind of, and it speaks to his character that a lot of the wrestlers, he was liked by a lot of the wrestlers and what he did for the company. And, they're trying to go in a new direction with TNA. I don't know if that new direction actually works now without D'Amore at the helm. I believe the new president is Anthony CC1.
Ciccone, I believe. CICCONE.
Yeah, CC1.
And yeah, Anthony Ciccone. Yes, Anthony, Italian last name here.
I'm sure he.
Well, it's another Tony.
Oh God. I'm sure this guy doesn't have any NDAs signed in his past.
I mean, I hear he's the great grandson of Jim Herd. And if anybody actually knows their wrestling history, thank you to the two people that understood that reference. Jim Herd. Jim Herd was the one who wanted to put Ric Flair in a hunchback costume.
The Pizza Hut guy. I'm asking you. He's the Pizza Hut guy.
No. That's Craig Robinson.
No. The guy that made Ric Flair leave at WCW in '91.
Was he part of Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that makes sense since the head of Pepsi left Pepsi to run Apple, so okay, so yeah, Pizza Hut guy. Hey,
well,
God, now I'm thinking, is Ciccone Papa John's? I'm just really hungry.
But you did bring up a good point. Does somebody pick up Scott D'Amore? Could Tony, the other Tony, could he put his pride aside and let a Scott D'Amore run the day-to-day operations of AEW? Could Triple H possibly give him a job at uh NXT?
I mean, there's no doubt that he would thrive in whatever position, and he could have Triple H's old job, make him senior VP of talent. Here's the thing. If I am any of the vice presidents of AEW, not only would I be shitting my pants, but I'd be keeping everyone away that could possibly convince Tony to hire him. Because they, AEW's, higher ups, it really is a boys' club of sorts. And someone like Scott D'Amore would make Tony realize that there's a lot more to wrestling than throwing your money around and, just listening to the words of a couple of guys with receding hairlines.
Hypothetically speaking, could somebody like Scott D'Amore actually get Drew to Tony Khan, or would it be on deaf ears at this point? Does money speak louder than reason?
Well, there are two names in AEW that could probably convince Tony flat out to hire him. The first is Sting. And the second is Ric Flair. I remember actually watching a Ric Flair Scott D'Amore match in WCW in mid '94, and in one of those, in what was really a squash match. I remember Ric Flair looking into the camera on his way to the ring and actually saying the name of his opponent, which was, never done for jobbers, really. Telling you how he was going to get ready to whoop Scott D'Amore! Woo! And if anybody knows what Scott D'Amore can do, it's Ric Flair. But then again, I'm wondering if Scott D'Amore would tell Tony, all right, now you take Rick, you drive upstate, you let him out, and then you drive back here. Or, you take him out back, you tie him to a tree, he's your pet. You shoot him.
Okay.
And then put him in, and then cremate him and create a new limited edition flavor of Woo Energy, made with 100% real Ric Flair.
If that was the worst thing that was in Woo.
Warning, may cause syphilis and syphilis 2.
Will you stop it? So,
hey, Ric Flair is a man who actually has, friggin' chromosome named after him. So
it seems like the future might actually be bright. I thought Demore might just go into the good night. Um, but if he, if, by the conversation we're having, it does sound like he might have some options out there for him if he
Uh,
wants them.
I there's one other option I would consider, and I wouldn't put it past uh, Scott D'Amore if he's offered it, and that's OPW.
Hmm. Well, I mean, whatever it is, whatever he decides to do, that's Amore.
Ah! Ah! Said
What's
the thing.
what's not Amore, what is might be a little bit questionable is that it seemed like things were pretty tied up that Kamille was going to WWE. She was backstage, she was doing things for them. They were pretty high on her. And now there's reports that she's going to AEW. What exactly happened here, Scooter?
Um, I think she got tired of everybody in WWE asking, "Who are you again?"
I mean, the only person that would know who she is in AEW is Tony, and that's because he's a big fan of James
Tiff?
Mitchell segments.
Well, yeah. Well, I'd like to call James Mitchell a friend of mine. That's another man that should be actually working in a more booking capacity.
If he could, sustain his cocaine use, it might actually benefit him if he wants to go to AEW.
Which is funny because when I met him, he didn't seem like the cocaine type.
Oh, well, Vince McMahon didn't seem like the.
He didn't seem like a guy that would use shorthand texting.
No, I mean, just like, shit on somebody, but here we are.
I mean, hey, if you want a Cleveland steamer, just ask LeBron.
I don't want to go there. Kamille. I don't.
No, you Kamille. Ah, yes. I think at the end of the day, nobody's wiser. Nothing of value was lost. Um,
I mean, she could have
uh,
been somebody beneficial to WWE.
yes.
Maybe
Now
not
she's
right
lost in the
now.
shuffle.
Huh?
She's going to get lost in the shuffle. That's the price of doing big business.
I mean, when it comes to WWE, in the long, would she be a it factor right now? No, with everything going on. But it's kind of a long term investment rather than a right now investment, I feel, with her. Uh,
Well,
you could put her up against a Rhea Ripley or a Nia Jackson. You wouldn't necessarily bat an eye. You would say, I could see this girl take her on. Uh, when it comes to AEW, offense taken, I don't care if they're offended. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't make you want to watch any more than you already do, and I don't want to watch at all. So, um, if you go to AEW in the woods, is anybody watching? which I highly doubt they are at this point.
Chin up, sits out, and watch for Kamille. This there's a strange similarity to when news broke about Julia and her leaving Stardom and the WWE wanting her.
But that
And
is a different scenario because she was being poached.
well, and here's the thing: nothing came of that either. We've heard nothing. It's like she faded out of existence.
That usually means more than likely that she's more likely to go to WWE. They're keeping it quiet.
They don't keep women signings secret. If you notice, they don't keep new women's signings secret.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of controversy when it comes to Stardom. The original president poaching talent for NXT Japan and whatnot. So, I mean, it's not exactly, oh, this guy is poaching talent for WWE. Here's our new talent that we poach. Her name's Julia. Doesn't sound good, no?
I mean, if she's, served with hollandaise sauce and bottomless mimosas, then I'd say she's poached very well.
Oh, God.
I'm really hungry.
Eat something!
I'm poor! I have no money!
Then take your laptop out on the street, beg for money, and then get a muffin.
I know, I'm not wearing pants! And where the hell would I get a muffin at this time of night?
You live in New York!
I don't live in Manhattan. Everybody doesn't live on a friggin' 40-mile wide island, James.
Well, you couldn't
We're not all up in our skyscrapers and making real estate dealings with some guy that's got bad hair. We're not all going to the matinee and what. Some of us live in really shitty parts of New York City where stuff closes at 10 p.m.
I can make the argument that all of New York is the shitty part. Boom. Burn.
Yeah, well, talk about burn. Huh. Nah. Hey, at least my state hasn't been half consumed by wildfires.
Oh, I'm on fire right now.
Or earthquakes.
I'm shaking right now.
Or Republicans.
Yeah, let's not get into politics. Speaking of politics, WWE unveiled a new show.
Oh, God.
WWE Speed. It's on
Yeah.
X.
It's Tony Khan's favorite new show.
Yeah. It's the reviews are snowing in.
It's being sponsored by Viagra.
The fuck?
I mean, a lot of men are grateful that now they will be able to identify their sexual longevity with a wrestling match.
Oh gosh.
I mean, the wrestling match will still go longer, but it's close enough.
Well, I'm not entirely against the idea of a 5 minute match on Twitter, but like when I go on Twitter, I'm not exactly looking for pro wrestling matches.
I'm not even looking to watch anything live on Twitter. I don't
Exactly.
think anybody is.
I mean,
Elon just put it there because he could.
it kind of seems like a death sentence at this point if you're on that show. But, what
You know
about.
what it reminds me of?
Hmm,
It reminds me of when they were doing Thunderdome beta testing,
yeah.
and they were giving all like NXT talent matches, but for some reason they were using other people's music. Caden Carter and Katana Chance got to come out to Sasha's music, and no match was longer than 5 minutes. But do you know who actually does 5 minute matches all the time?
I might get in trouble if I actually stated that, but go
Well,
ahead.
this is not actually an offensive answer. Uh, Training schools.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a very common exercise for for trainees. Work work a 5 minute match and try to get as close to 5 minutes on the dot as possible.
Well,
Now, what?
I think that this
You go.
might. Oh,
Yeah.
continue.
No. You finish. I have something to add after.
So, if they're going that route, then that actually might be a great thing for some of the less experienced people on the roster. For example, Maxine Dupree, who for whatever reason is getting a lot of Twitter hate at this point.
Yeah. So is Dave. So is Ava. Freaking bullshit. Uh,
I mean, we know why Ava is where Ava is, but that's another story. But Maxine, she's trying her best. Is anybody accusing her of being a great wrestler? No. But, she is very green. So, I don't think it's going to be to her detriment if she does a 5 minute match on Twitter every, week. I think it would actually benefit somebody for her to get those reps in front of a live crowd. She's already got the personality. She has the character with the Alpha Academy. It's just that missing piece of not being able to really go in the ring. You know what I mean?
that's that's true. Um, you know the idea of a 5 minute match um, also isn't too appealing because that's like blink and miss it almost in wrestling.
Well, I mean, if you're looking
Um,
at it on Twitter, that could be an alternative, honestly.
you know, um, a while ago, I had an idea for a type of match. And by the way, you know, this probably should have been this could have been a show that had uh, all British rounds matches. You could have done something akin to an actual sports league like they did with the NXT Heritage, tournament and whatnot. But I called it the Quickfire Championship, and every match was a 5-person over-the-top rope battle royal. Quick, to the point, 15 minutes, not a minute less. If anybody was still left in the ring, whoever was champion retained. So on and so forth. So, is this interesting? Maybe, but for all the wrong reasons. Is this innovative? Not at all.
You know what I would like to see? How much shit can they get in a 5 minute? Make it a whole show. Like, I don't know if you've seen it or if any of our listeners have seen it, but like a couple years ago, during the Olympics, Jimmy Fallon, was preempted for the Olympics. And, in his normal time slot, they only gave him like 5 minutes to do his whole entire show. And he got shit in 5 minutes. He did the monologue, the intro, he interviewed people, ended the outro all in 5 minutes. I would like the WWE to try something of that nature.
Except that doing just the opening segment of a match takes up 5 minutes, especially if they do a Memphis opener where it's just going back and forth, with just headlocks and Irish whips. And then, eventually it'll just be, one roll-up and that's it. And eventually, all the matches will be the same.
Well, you have one, you open up with both wrestlers in the ring. That goes a minute. Then you have a 1 minute interview segment with Kathy Kelly. Then you have a 2.5 minute match afterwards with the wrestlers already in the ring.
You know what? We bring in Drew Carey. We call it whose match is it anyway?
Well,
and the ending always has to be with damn it, who's someone wrestling really rags on that isn't Chris Jericho or Tony Khan?
Disco Inferno?
Yeah. It should end with, apologies to Disco Inferno. We just didn't have the time to get him on. Maybe next week. Like the Matt Damon, Jimmy Kimmel gag.
Maybe that could work. And the points don't matter.
Yeah. Just like, me.
The champions, and there'll be the Speed Championship. It literally don't matter.
It's just a giant line of cocaine.
Well,
You know what? For all we know, this is gonna be. Has anybody actually made sure that this is actually going to be wrestling matches and not relay races? Or stock car, or Formula One, or Tour de France?
I don't think, unless they get Bob Holly back, I don't think any of them will know how to drag race.
I mean, Bob Holly didn't actually know how to drag race. He knew how to drive a stock car.
Potato, tomato. It's a car that drives fast.
See, that's why we live life a quarter mile at a time, family.
Well, speaking about life on a quarter mile, it's been a roller coaster the last week.
A broken roller coaster.
The last time we talked to you guys, The Rock was officially the the competitor that will be wrestling Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Undisputed Speed NXT AEW World Championship.
Now, before you say anything else, I want this to be made clear. You and I both believed that what Cody was doing was stepping out of the WrestleMania main event and giving his spot to The Rock. Correct?
I don't remember. It was a week ago.
But that's what we all thought.
More or less.
Because Cody said not at WrestleMania.
Right.
So, and the only time that ever happened was Cena in 2006. 2008.
Yeah.
8, of course, the Rumble I was at.
Well, it went from Cody seemingly giving his spot to The Rock to 72 hours of We Want Cody on all social media platforms. If you get a chance, go to Reddit. There's a lot of interesting and funny takes on that.
We want Cody, Rocky sucks. We want Cody, Cocky sucks. Everything just jumbled together after a while.
There was a lot of back and forward. There was then We Want Rock, fuck Cody. There was a lot of back and forward until Thursday.
Yeah.
The Rock came on to the kickoff, so seemingly pretty heelish, if you ask me.
Yes, because we have to preface that with the fact that he made an appearance on Pat McAfee's show and called the people complaining about the man that generously gave up his spot, calling his fans the Cody Crybabies.
Right. And there was a lot of back and forward. Roman did great heel work. I choose The Rock if I could pick who I want to wrestle. Not giving the people what they want, but, being that heel that we all know Roman is great at being. The Rock came out, he showed the family tree. That's not an innuendo.
Yeah. You know what? I want somebody to get a high-res graphic of that and actually see how many of those names are real.
Scooter on Hawaii?
I'm pretty sure I saw Brooklyn Brawler's name on there. I think I also saw Samoa Joe's name. MJF was on there too, which is odd. But you do realize that tree is now going to be the next big meme.
Oh yeah. I mean, what I would like to know is the Rocky Johnson's love children on that tree.
They were all his love children.
Talk about a guy that has a couple NDAs himself.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to unlock him in WrestleFest, man.
I mean, that's really low standards, but okay.
You ever saw the episode of Young Rock
Yeah.
where he's playing WrestleFest? He's like, how come you're not in this? You gotta unlock me, man.
Yes, and nobody played long enough to actually do so. What was I getting at? Cody came out, called bullshit. Um, finally claimed that he is going. Finally chose Roman as his WrestleMania opponent. Um, uh, said some insulting words. I wouldn't even say about High Chief Peter Maivia, but The Rock took offense, slapped Cody. That's how they went off the air. Pretty interesting stuff, but I think the
and,
people got what they wanted in the end.
and, and Seth Rollins was there.
Yeah, need to talk about Seth in a little bit, but um a lot of shit happened in 1 week's time. To say the least.
Like, you know, when Rock did that whole, oh, where should I sit? I mean, we were all under the impression that, he saw Roman like a lot of us did. And that he was gonna see if he could step up and, put him in his place. And then we were, wondering if that was actually going to happen at WrestleMania, and in a matter of literally 2 days, suddenly The Rock and Roman are palling around. Cody is the first person Roman should be scared of. Rock should be the second. Because everybody's comparing, the whole comparison thing. That's what everything's been leading to.
The Rock shouldn't even be a factor in all of this.
But I have a theory on it.
Sure.
That one, the WWE was actually playing this by ear, and literally was gauging the reaction to choose what to do. Because there was no way that would have all been planned out. It was I don't want to say too perfect, but it was just it was too superficial to have that actually been, a legit script. But my theory is Rock is playing Roman. Because we've got Hollywood Rock, and now Rock's a Paul Heyman guy.
Well, what I was going to say was, it just speaks to the magnitude of what Cody has been able to do these last 2 years. To become such a babyface that the crowd turned on one of the biggest stars in WWE history. And who do we have to blame for that? The Rock. Because who was the Roman Reigns supposed to wrestle at WrestleMania 39? The Rock. But he didn't want to do the match with Roman then. Who got that spot? Cody. And that match against Roman, if he wasn't already a massive babyface, it shot him into the stratosphere. And then everything that he did with Brock during the summer, Brock put him. When's the last time Brock Lesnar raised somebody's hand after a match?
Yeah, that wasn't putting him in handcuffs.
Right. So, I mean, everything that he's done this past year was to get back to WrestleMania to tell the story of finishing the story. Rock allowed that to happen. And you can't get on a ship that already sailed. It's almost at its destination. And he's back where it set sail. So I mean, he's so far behind that it's all his own fault.
Let's not forget that yeah, Rock is technically their boss.
I mean, not according to Triple H on Friday.
I mean, although if you paid attention to what Big E was saying, Big E was my God, Big E and Punk were marking like Big E dropped Nick Khan's name in commentary,
Right.
and if Vince was listening on that, Big E would have been fucking fired.
Well,
it was like Big E was tuned into the bullshit and was actually venting frustrations for us. And let's not forget about Punk.
Punch him in the face.
Because I came up with something very, very interesting. The last time around, Rock, at CM Punk's expense, we had boots to asses. Now it's time to put some fists to faces.
I mean, his response to boots to asses was knees to faces. I actually held the short.
Yeah, I mean, is punches to mouths as fun of a hashtag?
I mean, I prefer the knees to faces, but
I mean, if Punk can record a track, with fists to faces in it, like Rock did.
Be a man, Rock.
Like Rock through and that tantrum. Like, okay, you can talk shit about Dusty, but Cody can't talk shit about the High Chief.
Is The Rock becoming the new Vince McMahon character?
Drunk with power. It's now I'm wondering if Rock's place on the board is legit, and if there was a publicity stunt that it isn't actually real.
I mean, that $30 million must be real.
I mean, how many more football leagues can Rock create or take over? I mean, pretty soon. pretty soon he's gonna have to. Pretty soon he'll have flag football, and then there'll be like nothing left. Then he'll be like, oh well, you know what? We'll take the UFL and we'll turn it into the Ultimate Frisbee League.
Which actually might put some asses in seats.
Yeah, and it already exists, so we're good.
Oh, well, his job is already done.
I mean, aside from the strike, Rock hasn't made a decent movie in a while.
You're not wrong about that.
And he ain't coming back as Black Adam Copeland. Oh.
I think the last good movie I saw with The Rock was the one where he was in the tower and he only had one leg.
What the fuck movie was that?
Yeah.
The last decent movie I thought that he was in was Be Cool.
Wow, that's like what, 2003?
2003. where he played a homosexual cowboy bodyguard for Vince Vaughn's Jew who believed he was a thug.
The name of the movie was Skyscraper.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yes, he did have one leg. Well, he still lost that ass. He still lost that ass kicking contest.
Now that we have a one-legged girl in Echo. Legitimately, one leg.
Did you see the thing going around, the TikTok going around of Triple H telling Cody he was fired the first time around and whatnot, and he talks about how, my father, everybody, talks shit about the Road family, he lit Florida up, he gets here, what do? They put him in polka dots, and they make him dance. And walks out, and then it transitions into the Cody of now. And of course, with Cody lighting up a big cigar, he's got the friggin' last laugh. And it's set to Skyfall.
No, I didn't see that.
It's actually a really good fan made video package. But it's there's so much to digest. We were left with more questions than answers. And
I mean, one of those questions got answered on SmackDown.
Yes. But I think the more obvious question is, did they all forget that WrestleMania was 2 nights? I mean, this is now the one time I would say your plan of Rock Roman and then Roman Cody would be the most viable.
Even then, I wouldn't say it's viable. Because then if Cody wrestles Roman night 2, then they'll say, oh, well, Roman was weak from night 1.
Well, then Cody's got to wrestle on night 1, too. How about that?
Hell in a Cell against Omos and Ivar and another big bastard.
Oh, Make him wrestle. Oh no, because since Jey Uso is now gonna be up against Gunther, I'm kind of pissed that Jey isn't actually gonna get a chance to be in the Elimination Chamber, but Gunther won't be in Elimination Chamber because he's got visa issues, which is weird because I always thought, that he could go back to his home country anytime he wants. I mean, he is Australian. Oops, I'm sorry, he's Austrian.
Wow, that was a joke really below you, and you still went there.
I think it's counterclockwise to our discussion here. I would have said, with Brock having been, removed, you know what? Make Gunther wrestle twice. Have Gunther wrestle Cody night one, not intercontinental title, and then have Gunther and Jey Uso on night two. That's it. Everybody wrestles once.
That's way too convoluted, if you ask me.
Some might say it's a wrestle dream.
To Tony, it might be a wrestle fever dream.
Well, Tony likes living on the edge.
WWE Speed coming to X soon.
That's not something you'd hear. You think you'd hear in like this advanced age of the internet. That's something like that's like a dial-up internet phrase, and I can't believe I've said dial-up internet twice in one show.
We're all very disappointed in you.
I know. Join the club. They've got jackets.
So, one of the things I heard, not from any reliable source anyway, was that this was all, like you said, a publicity stunt. But not for The Rock, but to garner some outcry or attention that was originally put on the Vince McMahon allegations, to get the narrative away from Vince McMahon, that Vince McMahon trial, to The Rock is screwing Cody.
Yeah, because there was one important thing that I really think was overlooked, and the fact that it was a press conference held in an entire arena.
It wasn't. It was called kickoff. It wasn't technically a press conference.
You know what I mean. It had the UFC feel to it. That was the only thing they didn't do was weigh everybody.
Well, we know Cody has a rivalry with the Whalers.
Well, who Rock's next feud is going to be against now?
That being
Drew Gulak.
Why?
Nobody uses a PowerPoint presentation.
Kaliko wasn't here to see it. One of our earliest jokes.
You know what? Screw it. You know what? Now I'm gonna speak this into existence. WrestleMania: Rock and Ava against Charlie Dempsey and William Regal. Doesn't make any goddamn sense, but you know what? That hasn't stopped them before.
Oh. I just don't know what to say at this point.
Like,
It's so convoluted. It's so.
do they really think we were that stupid?
Yes, clearly.
Like, Tony's like, fucking marks.
It's just. And I feel like they're just doing it to fuck with us at this point.
They just want to draw attention from the fact that the other company has a Samoan world champion
Oh, God.
that's not related to them.
Well,
You know what? I now want to see Roman versus Nia, Rock versus Nia. Let's unretire Tamina and put her in there, even though she's not related. And you know what? Let's de-age Ricky Steamboat a bit and put him in there too.
oh my God. Well, whatever you want to say about it, there's a lot of buzz going on WWE. It's an exciting time to be a WWE fan. And we
Frustrating, confusing. It's also confusing, which leaves me confused.
Right. And, yeah. It's making you watch. So, when's the last time you could say WWE made you watch every week to see what was happening? Things are in a good place, even though, you know, there's a lot of confusion. There's been a couple of, speed bumps along the way, but it's an
Just
interesting.
wait. Just wait until we do a dramatic reading of Vince McMahon's texts
Oh God.
to it like Shakespeare. Thou would like to see them. Fuckest they.
Well, we've been talking about Cody and Roman. No, and nobody wants Seth. Seth is literally the one-legged man. Could easily be picked off by literally anybody, and nobody wants his belt. And the one guy that actually wants his belt isn't being acknowledged in Drew McIntyre.
Well, since McIntyre is now in the chamber, and probably the man that should be challenging Seth is not taking part in the Elimination Chamber, which it should have been Sammy. But I just imagine Seth now with that whole meme where Frieda's like, all about me is familiar faces. Just going to all by myself.
I mean, literally the saddest part of that press conference was Seth was there for the whole duration. Literally was in the backdrop and did nothing.
And the fact that I will say this, it was, at least even if they didn't intend this, nice to see that Seth actually respected Cody enough, and that Cody earned it, and that he'll go to war with Cody again. if need be.
Well, that's Seth's story to tell. Cody's beat him 3 times, so that's Seth's story, not Cody.
Wait, we gotta back that up because the other overlooked statistic is the fact that Roman has yet to beat Seth in a title match.
Yes.
Main event.
Right. In a main event, in a big match, a PLE. Yeah, and I've seen that there was some talk of a tag team match set in Cody versus Roman and Rock at the Elimination Chamber.
That is presumably the next logical step, which of course means
they won't do it.
Which of course means now we're gonna get Cody versus Seth because The Rock has the stroke to pull that. Rock has the stroke, and we're all going to have a stroke.
Isn't stroking what got Vince McMahon fired?
Forget about it. I mean, there's also... God, and I can't believe I'm fucking saying this now. There's a possibility there might be a third family involved. Oddly enough, because a certain someone wore a powder blue suit, kind of like the one Vince used to wear in the late 70s, all throughout the 80s. And that's Braun Breaker.
Oh, no, it's not.
Introduced talk to Triple H on SmackDown, which was interrupted by Paul Heyman, who shook hands with Braun, and Braun still I don't think Braun has made his choice, but it was weird to see Braun, talk to the guy who essentially shot down his uncle's career in his second time around before it even got off the ground.
Giselle Shaw?
Maybe. I would believe Giselle Shaw is Scott Steiner after transition. Why not?
You have to ask her a math question, and then you'll figure out.
Okay. Know. I will ask her, what's math?
Will you stop it? So, is there anything else to be said about all of this, or are we leaving it at we're all very confused?
I mean, I can't wait for, they need to rename a PLE, Clusterfuck.
I think that's going to be an AEW paid preview sooner rather than later.
Welcome to Clusterfuck!
And you could literally hear Excalibur saying that with no joke, with all that enthusiasm that he has for his job that he has.
It's Saturday night! Break out the lotion, it's time for Clusterfuck!
What would be on Sunday? Its Collision is on Saturday. Even I know that.
Well, I mean, it looks like, it feels like everybody's been in an auto collision.
What are we talking about?
I mean, Vin Diesel sure as ain't happy with The Rock, with all that family shit, yet John Cena still makes it to the movies.
Yeah, but he got killed off. But he'll make it into the... Not this one, but the next one. He'll be alive.
Yeah, he didn't actually die in Fast X.
Yeah, nobody dies in those movies. I mean, they
I mean,
literally blew up Gal Gadot, and she's back.
I mean, we literally have to see them get decapitated, and even that isn't a guarantee.
Exactly. God. Makes you wonder, if only Cody was dating Taylor Swift, he would have that main event unlock.
Well, you know what? I mean, with the Super Bowl being tomorrow, which, to be honest, I almost completely forgot.
And you can't tell me that she didn't buy that championship ring for her boyfriend, her bae.
I mean, hello, it's me. I'm the problem. That's it. You know what? The Money in the Bank contract is now going to be used for either a title match or a date with Taylor Swift.
For the men and the women?
Why not? And you know what? Even for the pets and the inanimate objects. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Taylor Swift go out on a date with a toaster?
You could make the argument her current boyfriend is a toaster.
I mean, just wait until they take a bath together. No, but in all seriousness, I do like Taylor Swift. I couldn't give a shit about Travis Kelce, though. So
I don't think anybody gives a shit about him.
Because by default, I love Patrick Mahomes because his father was a New York Met, so. And somehow we've stopped talking about wrestling.
So, we've been talking about WWE for the majority of this episode. What about AEW? What are they doing right now? Because it seems like not a lot, in all honesty. I don't feel like big business and Sasha Banks coming to the company is like worth talking about. I mean, the only newsworthy thing that came out this week was that you got blocked by Chris Jericho.
Well,
am I wrong here?
How about this? TNA Rebellion is going to take place in Las Vegas.
Oh, when's that?
Sometime in the future, maybe in the past. April 20th.
Okay.
It's at the Palms. It's at the Palms Casino. Wait a minute. Wasn't AEW just there?
I have no idea.
Or was just...
Look at it this way.
Oh, no. It was TNA was there at the start of the last month. God. Riddle, Matt Riddle thinks he can come back, apparently. That's, Matt Cardona, is, returning. Lance Storm, is gonna have a new role with TNA.
I mean,
Oh! Oh! I can't believe we skipped over this.
and that being,
You gotta listen to our interviews, or at least some of our previous interviews, to appreciate this. Because we eventually stopped doing something in those interviews after a certain someone had an unfortunate a medical accident or medical issue come up, and we retired that worst wrestler, at least default choice, Steve McMichael,
okay, yeah.
officially being inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame.
Oh, all right. Congratulations to him.
Um, so that's the other thing. We haven't heard shit about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. That sounds about right, unfortunately.
You know, we at least know, like, at least a marquee by Rumble time, but geez. All right, you know what? One more little note, and then I think. So if you watched Dynamite this past Wednesday,
I did not.
you'll know that Sting and Darby Allin are the new AEW Tag Team Champions.
I saw it coming.
At ringside were Sting's two sons. I didn't know Sting had reproduced. I thought they were twins. Like, I thought they were twins. Like, but funny enough, the child of Sting that's in wrestling is his daughter, or daughter-in-law, I should say, Caitlin Borden, known as Jael, in Branded Outlaw Wrestling in San Antonio. She is their women's champion. Personally, been trained by Dustin Rhodes. And will probably be in AEW after Revolution. After Sting gives the worst retirement match ever.
I mean, it can't be any worse than Ric Flair. His last retirement match.
Woo! I'm a choo-choo!
So, yeah. What I was kind of...
I need a whiskey.
What I was kind of getting at was... There's nothing really worth talking about when it comes to AEW. Why do you think that is? Are they just not doing anything interesting?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they may do like a new World Cup of Wrestling, like WCW did back in 1995 with New Japan. It's going to be AEW against CMLL. It looks like.
But is that going to garner any more interest in them?
Nope.
That wasn't there to begin with.
Nope.
It seems like even their base audience is starting to disappear to a degree. and all Tony Khan could say is, "This is great. This is the biggest month we've had. This is the biggest show we ever had." They're not doing terrible when it comes to ticket sales. They're able to sell like 4 to 5 thousand tickets, in or 15,000 plus seat arenas.
Yeah. First of all, somebody needs to tell Tony to stop speaking.
Oh yeah,
Tony should not be the one making these announcements.
Tony should not be on any type of TV.
He's got the charisma of a toilet seat that I've sat on. Like, announcing that you're naming you're giving another name to your weekly broadcast to make it seem like it's a pay-per-view that we're getting to watch for free. Who cares if big business? Who decided that name was good?
Well, clearly,
that's the name of a movie from the mid '80s starring Lily Tomlin and Bette Midler.
Well, obviously, he's a fan.
No, he's not. He just didn't graduate high school. His reading comprehension doesn't go beyond the 5th grade. That's a requirement for all billionaires.
So, yeah, it seems like AEW is just on the decline. It is what it is. I mean, Sasha Banks isn't going to, like I said earlier, she's not going to move the needle when it comes to more people watching the show or not.
But you know what? We may get, a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sponsored Chocobo Brawl.
Oh, God.
I mean, if a wrestling company was a prostitute, AEW would be a $2 one. Because, man, they open their legs for anything. Is anybody still playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game? No. Anybody still playing that previous Yakuza game, which is not the same Yakuza game that was just released? No, not Infinite Wealth. The first Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon. Oh, God. Please, get us off the air tonight. God.
That will conclude this episode. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Buddy Boa. This Wednesday as we interview Bryson Blade. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on Thread, X, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Scooter?
As always, find me on X at Scooter Dust. Chris Jericho can't find me, but you can, and watch me as the Scooter Dust Chris Jericho Boston Brawl. That will not happen, because it can't happen unless Tony gives me a job. Things are happening. That's all I can say. I've been sworn to secrecy on something. So if I tell you, I unfortunately will lose a testicle, which will leave me with two and make me normal, just like all of you.
For Coleco Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.